Hello, fellow data science enthusiasts. Welcome to another riveting episode of the Data Query Podcast, where William and myself sit down for a conversation with some of the young bright minds in the field of data science, ranging from ML and data engineer, ML ops, AI researcher, data analyst, and data scientist. We share insights about their career journey and some of the actionable things they did to scale their career in this fascinating field of data science. So join me and William today to welcome Leonidas Efraim, who is a data engineer at Mastercard and a data scientist at Imperial College, as you query his mind to learn about his journey on becoming a data engineer at Mastercard and more. Welcome on the show, Leo.
Hello guys, happy to be here today and thank you for the opportunity to join your podcast.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show, Leo.
Thank you.
No. Okay. Yeah, we just like to start a conversation most of the time with most of our guests on the show, like to know how they got into the field of computer science, data science, and what was it that actually triggered this interest. And so we're very interested. What was it that set you into this part of becoming a data engineer and how you got into the field of computer science?
Yeah, that's a good question. From always I wanted to be a software developer, programmer, or whatever, because from the elementary school I was like, or from primary school I was like to work with some security things, doing some coding. So once I done with my school, I went to university and pursued in computer science degree. And after that, once I'm done, my plan was to become a software engineer, but the things didn't went as expected. So by a chance, I became a data engineer. How this happened? Once I'm done with my studies, I started sending application everywhere. You know, the process is tough. I reached out my network, and finally, an old colleague of mine from my internship, he told me that they are looking for a Java developer in their company. So I was really interested about it, and I told him that I'm down. I got the interview, but the problem was I didn't know Java. I was a C and a C++ developer, and the only code that I wrote in Java was to transfer a script from C++ to Java in university, and that was 3 years before. So the interview went as expected. I got rejected. But fortunately, 2 days later, HR called me and offered me an interview for a data engineer. Because I had a positive attitude, and she told me that I was fitting to the company culture. That was really great for me. I wasn't even know what is a data engineer by that time. But because I was really desperate, I just accepted the interview. I studied for SQL and Python, and I got the job. And finally, I was really lucky because this company was working as contractor for the AT&T, which is the biggest telecommunication company in the world. So by accident, I became a data engineer for AT&T. And from that, I started to understand what's in data engineering, what it's about, and I started to liking the job because the data engineering is a software developer on a big data. So that is my story.
So would you say after becoming a data engineer, would you say you're in a decision? How's it been? Are you enjoying it, your role as a data engineer?
Yeah, I enjoy it because finally it's a software developer on a big data. So I'm doing what I wanted to do, writing code and developing things. And the big data it's more about to understand the value of the business and how you can give how the things are working, not just like writing a feature on a program. You have to understand what the data mean and what is the value to the business. So for me, it was good experience and I really like it.
Well, okay, that's kind of interesting. William, please go ahead further.
Yeah, I was going to say, so speaking of data engineering and data engineer, let's say if my little brother in high school he comes to me to say, oh, I want to know about data engineering. What is data engineering in general? What's it about? How do you explain it to him, that sense?
Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, let's say we have coffee beans. Okay, if you have the coffee beans, you can't get something from them. You can't get the caffeine. So you have to you have to grind the beans. You have to apply some process and transform the coffee beans to coffee powder. And after that, you have to transfer this coffee powder to a beverage. There is a process between raw coffee beans and the beverage. Something like that is on the data engineering. You have the raw data, but you can't get any value from there. So you have to apply some process and transfer this raw data to a valuable thing to extract the value from there. So this is the data engineer about, to apply some processing on data so you are able to get some value from them.
Okay, interesting. Sounds really interesting, the analogy you gave in production of coffee beans and all that. But so you're talking about your earlier experience where you spoke about the interview and, let me say, getting the role for data engineering, meanwhile you interview for, let me say, software engineering. That was something interesting. And so there's this, let me say, overlap between sometimes software engineering and data engineering. So I'm also like, if there's some projects which you did back in the days as a software engineer that kind of help you get this role as a data engineer, and what kind of projects were they?
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't have any project in my early days of my career because in my university, and that was a big setback for my career, they didn't tell us about how you can get into the industry. What do you need to build a good resume, to have some side projects, and show to the companies that you can do that you are passionate to the industry by doing some side project. They mostly focus on building some academic skills on the university in Greece, but they didn't take that into account the industry. So I didn't have any project, and that's why I started working as a researcher in Imperial College to build some side project because I didn't have any.
So now I'm sure you're working on a lot of interesting projects, and I'm sure going deeper in the conversation, we'll come back to that. But just to relax things a bit, so what's your day-to-day routine like in Mastercard? How's your work routine like?
I will speak more generally. I don't want to dive into the technologies that we use in Mastercard and what we are doing in very deeply, but grand scheme of things, the work is divided in two parts. The one is maintaining the current pipelines, and the other part is building new data pipelines. And during the day, we have a lot of meetings to discuss how we can develop the new pipelines. We are all contributing on this. We are saying our ideas, our approaches. We are discussing with the teams, with the architects, with the project managers, and we are trying to give the best we can do as a team to the product, and more specifically to our customers.
Well, okay, interesting. We just spoke about your role, but I mean, into this world, I mean, unless someone is living in a stone or in a cave, everybody knows about Mastercard for sure. But some people might not know what Mastercard is and what they do. So can you shine a little bit light of what Mastercard is all about? And let me say I would say the unit in which you are working, what they do particularly.
Yeah, Mastercard is a financial company and has a lot of products, but I will speak about the core product, which is the payment system. Basically, the Mastercard is it's a bank, and it has a network of banks, and it is responsible to speak with them. For example, if you want to make a transaction, it's the middleman between you and the banks to transfer the funds, settle the transactions, and do this kind of stuff. Because if you are a small supermarket, it's not very convenient to do this work by your own. You have to reach out for example, Lloyd City to get the funds from those banks and transfer to another. It's not very convenient. So the Mastercard is doing this work for you. This is the core product, but I'm not working on this. I'm working on a loyalty program. Basically, we are doing personalized offers based on your transaction. For example, if you are a vegan, we will not offer you a burger with meat because we understand your behavior. And we are doing this for McDonald's, Starbucks, Domino's, Burger King. We're doing this for a lot of restaurants and this kind of stuff. So, but besides that, the Mastercard has a lot of other products about fraud detection, optimization of menus for restaurants. They can provide you market data for specific areas. For example, I can tell you what is the revenue of gas station in Leeds or Manchester, whatever you want. We have a lot of different things.
Okay, great.
Okay, so you've spoken a lot about it seems like to be a data engineer at Mastercard, you would require a lot of like skills, and because I mean there are a lot of technicalities you're supposed to know because of the kind of job you do. You work with big clients and all that. So for, let's say, a junior data engineer or someone trying to enter the industry, what kind of projects would you suggest them to work on to also build some certain form of skills?
For a junior data engineer, my opinion is firstly is to understand what is data engineering, to understand the concept. What do you have to do? What is a data lake? What's a data warehouse? What's the dimension, the fact tables, and all this kind of stuff. And after that, you will be able to work to start digging into the technologies, because on the entry level, the companies are looking to have the interpersonal skills, understanding what you are doing, and you be motivated and driven. That's the important thing, not the project. The project is coming on a secondary phase, and so this is my opinion about that. But for projects, I think it's the thing here is it's a bit weird because you to understand the data engineering, you need big data. If you are doing a project by your own, you probably you will not have a big amount of data, because, for example, you might choose a SQLite as a database for your side project, but you can't go with SQLite on the production; it will blow up. So you need big amount of data to understand the way that the pipelines are working, because each time you need something different. But the thing you can do is you can do a data web scraping project that you can scrape some data from websites that it doesn't need the big amount of data to stress out your pipelines. And a lot of companies will appreciate that because there are a lot of data on the web, but they don't have the APIs to pull them. So a data web scraping project would be fine, I think.
Okay, so web scraping is definitely one of the major things you suggest. I'm guessing that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of interpersonal skills, I'm pretty sure team playing and working as a team is a main thing, being able to work in a team. And also as a data engineer, I'm sure you're supposed to collaborate with other teams, cross-functional teams. So in the field where people don't have like the technical know-how, they have different backgrounds. Like it's not everyone that understands the technicalities of the things you are doing. How does it work? How are you able to collaborate with them?
Yeah. Is the thing that I told you firstly on the previous question, it's about to understand the concept. If you have solid understanding of the concept, you can easily explain what you want to communicate with simple words. So it's trying to not go that deep on your conversation with them, and you are trying to explain them such as they don't have like a 10-year-old kids. So you are trying to speak this way on the technical part. So this is my suggestion to go more to speak with simpler words and decomplex the conversation.
What kind of tools would you say are also good for collaboration? I know most people use GitHub, and there are a lot of tools that you could use for collaboration. So also to help our audience, some people would like some tools that they could use for team collaboration.
Yeah, you can use Jira to collaborate with other teams with your with tickets to have some common field between them and you, the other teams. Also, yeah, as you said, GitHub is another good solution, so other team can see your code if you give them their proper access. What else? We also have some communication channels like Slack, Team. So I think there are a lot of tools in the industry that you can collaborate with other people. Also, it's great to have some documentation, some Confluence that the other team can read and understand what you are doing if you are not there, or they want to more dive into the subject or something.
Oh, okay, that's great. And still talking more on the technical side of things, Leo, I mean, when we talk about, let me say, data engineering, most of the time, sometimes people want to have, let me say, like a practical aspect of things, like how to build projects. And actually, let me say, if you want to deploy, let me say, or show proof of concept, maybe on your GitHub profile and all that, you spoke about the web scraping, which was a good example. But there's so many tools out there and many frameworks, and if you want to build a pipeline. So what are the kind of tools and framework you feel are kind of user-friendly, not in the sense, when I mean user-friendly, I mean like developer friendliness, right? That maybe you can just go through and you have many things you can explore to build such tools. So for example, if you build a web scraping tool or a data pipeline, what orchestration tool we use if it's a data pipeline or web scraping tool? Which kind of tools you feel like are easier for, let me say, a junior data engineer to pick up, or somebody from uni to like take maybe 2 days to learn and go through and do something to show on the GitHub?
Okay, that's a hard question because there is no one solution that fits to everyone. Each project you are building, you need something differently. Every tool you can't. There is not something that is coming to my mind that is easy to use. Particularly for me, it's firstly you have to understand the whole idea, the what every component is doing, because technologies are coming and go. I don't have some particular to understand because
yeah. Anyway, I get your point. Yeah, which makes sense. But I was trying to pick your brain because like there's this data engineering Zoom camp which I spoke to you earlier about. The data orchestration tool they were using is Airflow at first, but now they transition to Prefect because Prefect is kind of, let me say, is user friendly or developer friendly compared to Airflow. So it's that kind of realm in which I was like asking. And also for web scraping tools, like before I've used let me say I use Scrappy and also this other popular one, I forgot the name, it comes to mind. And so sometimes when I'm using some of these frameworks, I find like some ones are like a little bit easier for me to grab. So that's relative. That's like I must put in that context relative to you. So I just wanted to know from your own experience if like when you play with some of these tools, like which one you found was like a little bit picky to pick up.
Okay, I see. Okay, maybe you can use tool that is doesn't need to write much code. It's automate everything. So the ETL process is doing by itself. So a good one, it's the Apache NiFi. You can build an ETL pipeline just with drag and dropping some components on the UI, so it's very easily compared to write a big Python script. So yeah, for ETL you can use NiFi. Also a lot of I heard that the Airflow has a good reputation. I never will that, but the Airflow is mostly about orchestration. So one tool is not undo the whole work by itself. So you need to combine a lot of them. So for me, I will suggest NiFi to start from something with no coding, just to get the concepts, and then you start getting. Once you get the understanding, you can dive into the code and write some Python scripts or Scala.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, and still to dive more on the technical side of things and building, what I'll say IDE do you use? And also going to, let me say, stay on the project side and building things, right? What do you think like is most difficult sometimes? You feel like for somebody who's coming to data engineering, like trying to build something, do you feel like most of the times like a project to build? Because like I had this friend and we were talking, you spoke about this thing, web scraping and all that, which was a good project to like demonstrate. But apart from some of this, like, do you think, let me say, really builds, because web scraping, like, in terms of data pipeline and all these kind of things, which, I mean, in your role as a data engineer, are kind of core and competent, do you feel like this kind of project alone are sufficient? And if not, what are the kind of next things to, like, do and kind of things to follow if you have maybe any resources you have? We already mentioned the other one to, like, see the flow, which we put in the show note links. But apart from that, like, are there some other kind of things that come to mind, like, that could really like demonstrate workflows and all the kind of different tooling that one can master and concepts?
Okay, for the first question, what IDE I'm using, I like to write on Visual Studio Code, but for the project is I think it's good to integrate with cloud, even AWS or Azure or Google Cloud, because to handle all this big data, you need it's hard to handle it with your local machine. So you probably on the enterprise environment, I will not say 100%, but 99% you will use some cloud services to do your pipelines and handle all these workloads. So it's good to create a trial account with some free credits that most of the vendors are giving you to build your pipeline on the cloud. And I think this is gonna be really big plus for your resume and your projects. What else? Yeah, I think I would suggest this cloud, integrate with cloud on your project if you have the project.
What's been the most interesting thing that's happened to you since you started your career as a data engineer?
Well, I think I think the interesting part of my career was to move to the Mastercard because from that day everything has been changed. The environment is very different. I found the right people to mentor me, teach me things. So I went from 0 to, I would not say 10, but 7, 8, because I speed up my career, and that was a great thing that I had as a data engineer, to be on the right environment that give you the opportunity to grow faster.
It looks like mentorship plays a very big role in the career.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So in that case, what kind of tools or what kind of tips or advice would someone that wants to start a career in data engineer? Any tips or anything in general?
Yeah, I will say once again is to understand what is data engineer about, to understand the concepts and how the things are working before getting to that. After that, it's good to start speaking with people with all levels. I mean, from juniors to senior to principal engineers, whatever. If you have the opportunity to get near to those people and see their understanding and the concept, that will be really beneficial. And after that, it's good to start working with projects. Try to find something open source project. I don't know any specific project on data engineering for open source because I didn't dive into. But these three things, and after that, you have to try to obtain the right soft skills because most companies want to they prefer to fit on their culture instead of having the right hard skills, because the companies can teach you the technology. It's not a big deal. 2, 3, 4 months they want to teach you the technology, but the personal skills it's really hard to teach you through the time. It's more hard, so they prefer someone with the right attitude and not the right skills. It prefer to have both, but they would prefer they focus on the soft skills and interpersonal skills, and the others can be taught. But you need some fundamentals, and it will be really beneficial if you have the proper skills.
Speaking of concepts, what do you say the major misconception has been on data engineering or the field of data science? Have you come across any misconception? Later you realize that, oh, this thing that you thought, it's not like that. Has it been
the thing that came to my mind, it's not only about the software about the data engineering, generally on the industry. A lot of things believe that the seniority is coming with the years. For me, it's not going that way. Maybe you have 15 years of experience, but you are just doing the same things again. You just did 15 times the first year of your career. It doesn't make you a senior. And a lot of people believe that if you have 5, 10 years of experience, you're gonna be senior. It's not like that. To be a senior, you have to think the bigger picture. You have to identify problems. You have to mentor the others. You need some other skill to be a senior. It's not coming with the years of experience. And for me, it's a big misconception in the industry.
Okay, that's very interesting. I mean, talking about, seniority and all the buzzword that goes in becoming senior dev, like a junior dev. I mean, the classification system in the industry, which kinds of sometimes, as you said, goes with, experience and all that. And I like you can share and thought, and it's really well informed. And also talking, you spoke earlier about, let me say, soft skills and hard skills. So I believe, you work in a cross-functional team dealing with different people. And so what are some of the soft skills you feel are very important working in this collaborative environment, working with different stakeholders, and also colleagues with different backgrounds, and it's good to communicate and let me say make the team a very healthy and have a rapport in the team.
Yeah, for me, it's very good to have a high emotional intelligence to understand the people and what drives them um to to do what they are doing, and it's very important for me to understand what each person wants. For example, the director wants something different from your senior engineer. Your senior engineer wants to make his life easier here, okay. But the director needs something different. He or she needs to give some value and show up the team. So each person needs something different. So if you identified what each person needs, you can give what they want. So you can make them happy and bridge this communication between them.
Okay, I like the way you put it, like each person's wants and needs, to identify that and to be able to empathize with them. But I also want to know, I mean, most of the time you're working on project and sometimes you meet deadlines and expectations, and maybe you're working with somebody in the team with actually maybe your work is dependent on your work. I mean, it's dependent on his one input. Like basically, you need some things. So when you're working this kind of team where you have, let me say, I'll say laggards sometimes, and maybe sometimes you're overperforming or vice versa. How do you try to communicate this? Like, how do you deal with such situations to ensure that at the end of the day, I mean, you're meeting the objectives of the team, but you also care about your collaborator, even if it's not being productive or due to some problems?
Okay, basically, I think if you build trust with people, you can get what you want faster, and you can overcome the obstacles. And this thing is not built by overnight. So you need some time to achieve this level. So sometimes, yeah, you will face some blockers between your job. You'll try to overcome by yourself with that way that I told you before. But if it's something it's very urgent, you can't push the thing from the management, because some people have more authority and they can push the things better than you. So you can't turn to those people to push and get what you want. The other side is, as I told you, to have a trust, good communication, and try to get what you want by yourself with the optimal.
Okay, interesting. Ayo, just to put also on that in context in regards to when you talk about your senior manager, your collaborators and all that. I also like want to know from your own personal journey. I know you're still on that journey and you still have a long way to go. But so far, so good. I mean, you've done so many things that I can tell for itself. But who is that particular person or particular company that when you look back or when you reflect now at this particular point in time, you are like grateful for the impact they had on you?
Well, I can tell you, when I was freshly graduated from my university, as I said before, I didn't have idea what's going on in the industry. But I had some friends who used to work for big banks like Bank of America, JP Morgan, Citi. So they give me some influence and they help me to understand how the market works. They give me what is going on the market, and from them I was inspired heavily, and I raised my expectation, because once I'm done with my university, my expectation was just to get a normal job, get a normal salary, just because the big things are not for me and I can't make it. But after speaking with people, I understand that nothing is impossible. And if they made it, I can do also, and everybody can do it. So I said to myself, I can do it. So I challenge myself to go to this level and push the things to the limits. So it was some good friends that had some prior experience in the industry.
communication and also networking is a major role.
Yeah.
So if you want to land a job in the industry, you need to be networking, going for meetups, buy data, and all that. So yeah, that's very insightful, and we are grateful for that.
Yeah,
I would
great.
like to know how do you balance your work? How do you balance your success and your work? Because it seems like it's a lot of work that you're doing. It takes a lot. So how do you balance it? What do you do on the weekends? Do you still code? Do you still learn?
Yeah, for here I have my my formula for this, which is on the weekdays I prefer to push the things, working, doing, working on side projects, networking, meetups, everything. So I I I have my weekdays for this, and the weekend is more about to chill, socialize, meet with my friends, chill. So I will have clear my mind, my battery is gonna pull up, and be ready to work on them, to put the limits on the work on the weekdays. Um, and to achieve this is it the key to achieve this is to make up your mindset, and this is very important for me because it's all coming from there. For me, my mindset is about to the Leo who woke up in the morning will not be the same as the Leo who go to sleep on the night. It has to be better. It has to be it has to learn something new. So if I didn't make that, I will not feel okay. Maybe it's strange for you, but for me, that's how it works. I don't feel okay if I don't make something more. So with this mindset, it pushed me to doing things every day. So that's how I balance the things. My mindset it drives me to have the right motivation to spend my weekdays on the projects, on the work, on everything that is productive, and the weekends for chilling.
I'll ask you some series of questions, like just choose one.
Yeah.
Okay. Copilot or ChatGPT?
I really want to use the Copilot. I heard a lot of things about it. So I can't say which is better, but I can tell you about ChatGPT. I already wrote some code and it's really amazing. I asked him to write me some connection to the database, and he write me the function to connect to the database. And I was really amazed by that because when I want to connect to the database, I made a research on the Stack Overflow. It took me 5-10 minutes to understand what I have to do. But the ChatGPT, by a click, it gave me the code instantly with comments, with everything, and it was much better than the code that I wrote by myself. So it's really amazing.
Okay, so ChatGPT goes one up. Okay. Okay, and in terms, let me say, because like with Stack Overflow, and let me say, I feel like ChatGPT is now eating Stack Overflow up. It's like it's eating his breakfast. So, but at the same time, I mean, I also want to show like, because I also have this like when I'm learning sometimes, and sometimes you're asking yourself, should I go to ChatGPT or Stack Overflow, and or that maybe you I still have like the bad habit of myself of googling stuff before I realize, okay, maybe I could like get this thing. But I want to know, like, do you find that some things where you feel like the community contribution is more valuable than, let me say, the AI chatbot contribution? Are there some cases you've come across and you like say, okay, maybe the community did better, yeah? Or even like maybe going sometimes, like for me, I go to the extreme sometimes of entering like Reddit's kind of, I mean, group chat and all those kind of things. So like Reddit sometimes, I'll enter a Reddit group and I'll see like some kind of, so I don't know, what do you think about, let me say, like this community-based kind of way of solving problems and the AI way of generating? Do you feel like that some use cases you've come across and you like, okay, maybe the community did better, yeah?
Yeah, for me, it's not black and white. It's gray for me. Sometimes the community is better if you want a more deeply answer for a very specific thing. I think the community will give you the answer. But if you want something more simple, I think the AI can give you better solution. this is for my experience, but okay, the ChatGPT has been a month or two that has been rolled out, so I don't have that much of experience, but till now, this is my perspective.
Okay, great. And also, okay, another like one, I don't know, you choose this one of the options. Windows or Linux?
Definitely Linux.
Definitely. That was
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah, no question. You're a developer, you are using Windows, I don't know, maybe you are doing something wrong.
Okay. And also, this is also like, I don't know, this conversation earlier with a friend of mine, we're talking about, let me say, like earlier in your career, using most these pre-trained generative models for solving and debugging. So what is your take on that? Let me say for somebody who's like early in his career trying to have some concept of fundamentals, do you feel like it's a right approach to go, or do you feel like sometimes maybe it's good to like, let me say, get some concepts, or just because I'm saying so because let me say I had this bias like before of using Copilot, because I feel like Copilot will auto generate some code for me, but I won't understand some things like some depth. So I had this bias of like using Copilot, and up to now I haven't really used Copilot because of the explainability side, which is missing sometimes, but actually things come out. So maybe that may be because of my level of understanding at a particular moment. So, but what is your take about using these tools? Let me say earlier on, try to learn. Do you feel like that a good way, or do you feel like maybe at a certain level you should? So I don't want to put what's into your mouth, but that's how it's going about this. So I want to know your own thoughts about this kind of, I would say, problems or challenges.
I think for me it's better. It depends on the level, like you said. On the early level, on the beginning level, it's better to understand what you are doing, because if you want something to, if you want to build something, you have to ask the AI to build this thing for you. If you don't know what you want to do, it's hard to explain to the AI what you want to do. So at the early level, it's better to understand what you are doing, and if you have certain level of experience, it's better to use an AI to do it for you.
Okay, great. And I mean, before William comes in, like there's one thing I also like to you to share your experience, or I'll say view on that, and that's regarding your career at this particular moment in time. Like most people will enter the industry and will be at this particular point where you are. So, what do you feel like the next step for you is, or the field you're more interested in exploring, or maybe something you feel like maybe at this particular stage you should be focusing on, or you should be asking yourself regarding this for you in this context? So, what would that be?
For me, the next step will be to get a solid understanding of the data engineering and know every concept that exists in the field. And after that, I have to integrate with not particularly on the technology, but on the bigger picture. How can a data engineer give a value to the customer and the product? So for me, my plan is to explore better in the data engineering, get a full understanding on every concept. And besides that, I want to see how the management is working, the managerial position, what traits you need, and what kind of stuff you need to be a people person and these things. So I want to explore these two ways. I was thinking to do a master's degree on business administrator, but I don't know if it will helpful or still I'm still exploring the field.
Yeah, talking about, I mean, what you spoke about management and trying to scale your career, maybe going for an MBA and also trying to get some managerial skills. I feel at the right time you're going to know what to do, and at the same time, I mean, yeah, it's going to be very valuable. And so it means you trying to explore so that I said the next option of working and control and working with teams, and also having more, I'll say, responsibilities. And we get responsibility, we get power comes with responsibility. So yeah, definitely, I feel that would be an interesting thing as you go to explore. And for our use, for our Mr. listeners and audience who also like to keep in touch and follow that journey with you, where can they reach out to you?
They can reach me out on the LinkedIn. You can share my profile with them on the description of the video. I use it every day. Sometimes I will definitely see the message, but if I'm super busy, I will answer in a day or two. Depends what I have to. But I will answer the message if someone told me or reached me out, and I would be really happy to hear if anyone wants something for data engineering advices, or something else, or whoever wants to reach me out, feel free.
Ah, great. And is there any? I mean, most of the time, we also would like to know about books or resource, especially books, because at the same time we also evolving as people and also maybe a career. So in terms of personal development books or growing as a person, or even I would say career related books that you have that comes to mind, can you hint one or two about that?
Work? Do you mean work related books or just whatever?
Yeah, it can be either. I mean, it's up to you, but just a good.
Yeah, I would suggest the Think Fast and Slow from Daniel Kahneman, who took a Nobel on behavioral economics. It's very good book to understand the biases that we have in daily life for each of us, and it will be it's a heavy book. It's about 500 pages, but if you read it, you will not regret it. It will change you as a person. Yeah, for me, I will definitely recommend the Bible of interviews, the Crack the Coding. It's a book that it's really helpful for the interviews. Also, Elite Code, as everybody knows, is a good it's a good website to practice your skills, because on the interviews you can avoid this algorithm with coding challenges. So you have to go on this resource. And on YouTube, I will say it doesn't give you in YouTube there's a lot of information, but it's not going that deep. If you want to get a high-level idea of some concept or some technologies, the YouTube will be the best option. You will have a 10-minute video to understand what is Redshift, what's BigQuery. You can understand all of these things, but it doesn't give you deeply on the thing that you want to learn. But it will be very beneficial if you understand the concept of data engineering from YouTube. It will be great.
Thank you, Leo, for giving us a vivid walkthrough of your journey, for sharing your experiences and your challenges with us. It's been a pleasure having you on the show, and thank you once again, Leo.
Thank you. Also, guys, you're making a great job with your podcast to give you are giving great value to your audience, because you are bringing every time a different person. The last time you brought someone from academia. The other time you brought someone from finance. You're rotating this thing. You're bringing data analysts. In the future you maybe bring some ML ops. So each time you have something new, and you are doing really great with that.
Thanks a lot, you. I really appreciate. And I mean, for our audience, thanks once more for spending the last couple of minutes with us, and until we meet on Query on, and stay blessed.